Hello, my name is Tosh. I'm going to go ahead and tell you about my experience with Flixbus. I'm going to try to be as efficient as possible because I realize I'm not the best storyteller. And I really do want to give back to YouTube, especially because I do rely on other people's reviews to help me maneuver in my life or travel. So I definitely want to be able to add to the content and help somebody else who might need it. So I use Flixbus to go from Paris to Munich and from Munich to Salerno, Italy. I chose to use the bus from Paris to Munich because it was overnight, so it allowed me to sleep on the bus, and then when I woke up I would be in Germany. I wouldn't have to fly in and probably fly in late and still pay for a hotel that I wasn't going to get much use out of. And also the bus station in Munich was really close to where I was staying, so I could walk to and from the bus station, which was better than having to fly in and then get a taxi or do public transportation and then also have to go back to the plane and fly to Naples, which is not necessarily close to Salerno, and then having to figure out how to get there and then back when I'm flying out. So Flix actually worked for me in that situation. I found out about Flix on Go Euro, which is a site where you can book buses, planes, and trains. It was a very helpful site for me when I was planning my Euro trip. So when I initially tried to find the bus station in Paris, I had to take the train or a trolley to Paris Porte Maillot. According to Google, it's Porte Maillot. And I couldn't find out where the bus was located. There is a mall there, and so when you come out of the train station, if you cross the street, there's a mall, and I had to go over there because that's what the address was leading me to. However, I didn't see any bus or anything. It actually took me more than 30 minutes to find the bus. I was crossing back and forth, and when I was trying to cross the street, people were literally trying to hit me. As soon as the light turned green, they pedaled to the metal. Even if I was in the middle of the crosswalk, once it was green, they were heading for me. I had to run several times across the street, and I'm grateful nobody hit me, but I really felt like my life was threatened. But that's neither here or there. I did ask a few people, but they did not know where this bus was. Had I just walked a little further and looked behind the mall, the bus was there, but I didn't, so it took me over 30 minutes to find it. So I had to wait until the right bus came. I spent a few hours waiting for the bus to come, and then we lined up at the bus station and waited for our right bus to come so that we can head off on our journey. It finally did. They let us on. They scanned our pass, and they scanned our pass, and I had a checklist to check us off just to make sure that they account for us once we got there. The bus was fairly clean. I wouldn't say I felt gross or anything. It was nothing of the sort. It was clean. I really liked that it did have Wi-Fi on, so it allowed me to check in with my family while I was traveling. I slept most of the trip, so I don't have much to tell you about views or sightseeing, especially because it was dark by the time we left. It turned pretty dark where it was hard to see anything. I was sitting near the bathroom. Now the bathroom is, out of the 3 buses that I did take, it's in the center of the bus. To your right, there's a little step, and you go down the stairs, and then there goes the wash closet. And I was sitting a few rows behind it, which I don't recommend. So try to sit away from the toilet, especially because you just never know what's gonna go down, and it's just better not to smell stuff. So it was a little stinky in the bus, and somebody was smoking. So I had, my allergies were acting crazy, especially since Amsterdam. Stuff happened in Amsterdam that caused my allergies to go haywire, and Paris didn't help because, like, for some reason it was very dusty there and it was not helping me feel better. So I was definitely not the passenger you wanted to sit next to. I was coughing. I was I was like literally coughing out my lungs. And somebody was sitting next to me, and as soon as he could, he switched seats. And somebody was smoking on the bus, and I don't know who it was. I did want to say something because, like, I was choking and it was just not helping the situation. So I didn't say anything, and eventually I got to Munich. It was super close to where I was staying. Great walking distance and everything. I do want to tell you, so during the bus ride, the bus does stop. Sometimes it stops to pick up more people or to let people off at their destination, and sometimes it stopped like just to allow you to use the bathroom. I didn't get off at this point because I didn't want to get left behind. And I tried not to use the bathroom at all while I was on this particular bus, but near the end I did end up using it, and it wasn't clean. And I don't know if it's really the bus fault or the patronage. So after my trip in Munich, I had to go back to the bus station, which was in Munich Central Bus Station. And I waited for the bus. Again, they scanned my ticket, which I printed. I'm gonna go ahead and talk to you in a bit about like how does the checkout process look. Not the checkout process per se, but like the tickets and stuff like that. So I got on the bus that was heading to Milan, and that was the best trip I ever booked. I thought it was going to be horrible because it was 24 hours and my trip from Paris wasn't as pleasant. So I was not looking forward to spending 24 hours on a bus. And I got on the bus. It was super clean. I sat next to a girl, or the girl sat next to me, and she was from Canada. And we ended up becoming like friends. We still kind of keep in touch. I even spoke to her last year. And we started talking. She was doing her internship in Germany. And every time we were talking, and we're not loud people, so when I was talking, there was some guy in the back of the bus going, oh, oh, oh. Like what we were saying was all a problem. Like, why couldn't we talk? I don't understand that. So that was kind of frustrating. But anyway, that wasn't the worst. So the view in the bus was amazing. The reason why I would recommend this route is because the amount of things you get to see on this trip is like, it's just mind-blowing. I was at awe. I was like, I can't believe this exists. We went through the Swiss Alps. I just saw different things. Half the time I didn't really know where I was. I did take a few screenshots of my map so I can like remember it for later and actually see where I was at that point in time. But it was just like, it's breathtaking. The mountains were breathtaking. The ice were melting. So it made like waterfalls from the top of the mountain peaks. It was pretty awesome. And we did get to stop, you know, like for bathroom breaks and stuff like that. And I love that the automated voice that tells you, okay, we're stopping for 5 minutes, or we're picking up customers, or whatever the case is. They'll tell you, this is what we're doing and this is how much time we're spending on it. And that was so helpful, that especially that it was in English. On the second half of the trip, when I went to Milan, it was in Italian and I didn't understand crap, so I did not get off the bus. Because I did not get off the bus because I did not want to get left behind. So like there was even a point where there was a road on water, and then there was this big structure in front of you. It was just beautiful, and it was closer to Italy because the vibe there was a little bit more like tropical. If you just go, like if you just go for the sightseeing, I would recommend Flixbus. Actually, I'll do it again. I want to do that leg of the trip again up until Italy, because once I hit Italy, I didn't really see anything. It was just basically highway. So I did stop in Lampugnano, Milan Lampugnano bus station. It was not the cleanest bus station, but it was pretty big and it was fine. I was just waiting around for the other bus to come, which would take me directly to Salerno. And my destination was Piazza della Concordia. Sorry. Yeah. And that trip from Munich to Salerno cost me $52.90. 52 euros, sorry. So my trip from Munich to Salerno cost me 52.9 euros to get all together with the VAT. The way how they bill it was the first part of the trip from Munich to Milan was like 24 euros, and then the one from Milan to Salerno was about 20 something euros as well. So I do want to go over a little bit about so once you book it, you get so I do want to just go over a little bit about like how the passes work and how baggage work as well. So once you buy the ticket, they send you an email with your boarding pass along with the receipt attached at the second page, and then another attachment that has your baggage I don't know what you call it right now. I can't think about it, but it's like a little paper to put on your baggage to let you know that that's your baggage. There was a 2-bag minimum for my ticket, and I'm gonna go ahead and post a little bit. I'm gonna post a little bit of like the invoice and stuff like that. So once you have the invoice, you have the option to print it or keep it digital. And I printed mine just to be safe than sorry. Also, so